Robert Arnott, you're chairman and founder of Research Affiliates. In Switzerland, we have a benchmark index, the Swiss Market Index, where three or four companies account for about 60% of the market capitalization. As the guru of fundamental indexing, this must be a horror for you.
Well, I find it interesting that so many countries have heavy dominance by a handful of companies, partly because those companies are commanding lofty multiples. So when you use a fundamental index that weights companies according to their economic footprint, you often get a more broadly diversified portfolio because three or four companies trading at extremes of valuation aren't allowed to dominate.
So why aren't fundamental indices not widely used as, for example, as a benchmark?
Would you want to be measured against something that beats the market by 1 to 2% a year? Or would you want to be benchmarked against the market? We actually, early on, we were encouraging people to think of it as an alternative benchmark, and we pretty quickly ran up against opposition for the simple reason that people thought it would be a benchmark they couldn't beat.
So what is best for fundamental index in asset class terms? Is that stocks, bonds, or commodities, or something else?
Basically, the more volatile the asset class, the more value is added by using fundamental index. So for stocks, we find 1.5 to 2% a year is added in most countries. A little more in global applications because you're also trading against country bubbles. But among the countries, the ones that are most volatile tend to be the emerging markets, and that's where I would expect to see the largest value add. In bonds, investment grade bonds aren't very volatile, so the value add from fundamental index empirically, going back historically, is 1/4 to 0.5%. Not very interesting. A good bond manager can beat that. In high yield bonds and in emerging markets bonds, there you get a lot more volatility and it adds about 2%. And finally, in commodities, you have huge volatility. So we find that fundamental index applied to commodities beats the conventional indexes by about 6 to 8% per year compounded. It's absolutely enormous.